Hello, I'm Jay from Volunteer Audio. Today I'm making a video to show you how to take out this factory headlight and install the latest Shark Demon headlight from Custom Dynamics on these 2024 and newer Harley-Davidson Road Glides. You're going to stick around as we go over the details. How bright is it? How's it designed? Why is it better? We'll go over that in the video and show you how to get it installed with that before and after result of how bright they are. All right, let's open up our new Shark Demon headlights and see what comes in the box from Custom Dynamics. All right, first thing we're going to have here, looks like we're going to have some instructions. Awesome, plenty of pictures. You know we're going to do better with some pictures. Let's go a little further in here. Looks like it's packed well to make sure that it is protected. Looks like we got a sticker to show off our new lights. Let's pull out our headlights here. This is one of the two. Check it out, there's one of our headlights in here. Let's get our second one up here. There's our second one. Each of these is going to do low or high beam, all weatherproof connections on them. We're going to have some brackets here. Everything's going to be all plug and play, no modification to the actual bike. These are some brackets. These are kind of the side vent turn signal eliminators. We're going to be in this install, we're going to be using another part that actually adds those turn signals back in. We need turn signals here in Tennessee where we're at, and it just makes sense that it would be safer to have them. Here's the other side vent that's in here. Looks like everything's well wrapped up and protected. Here's another bracket. Looks like we have a bag of hardware. It looks like we have one more bracket in here. Let's go ahead and look underneath, make sure there's nothing hidden in the bottom that we need. Yep, there is. There's another layer down below those parts. And here we have, I thought there was going to be a large bracket that was missing. There's the large one that everything's going to bolt to. And I really like this. This is the upper portion, so it doesn't just leave it open and let water blow all in your fairing. And then here we go. Here's our electrical harnessing. At that point, that's all that's left in the box. We're going to get to our bike. I'll show you how to disassemble the fairing. We'll show you how to take out that factory light, and then we'll start laying out all of these parts. We'll go step by step how to install it. And also, we're going to give you a before and after. Let you see what the light looked before we did this and how bright it is afterwards. All very nice. All weatherproof connections. Every part we need is here. But again, as I talked about, we're going to be using the integrated front turn signal vents in conjunction to make this where we have our front turn signals as well. So we'll go over that a little later in the video. As we get to that part, we'll unbox it. I'll show you what's in there. All the connections we're going to need to plug this in. But it looks like everything we need is right here, all plug and play. Nothing has to be ran to the battery. Nothing gets modified in the bike. We're not going to void your warranty. And one of the other big key features of this light, it's DOT approved. It's not going to blind oncoming traffic, but it's going to give you a tremendous amount of extra light right where you need it, on the roadway out in front of you, not up in the trees. All right, so let's get to the bike. We'll disassemble the bike. We'll go from there. All right, so before we move to the bike and disassemble it, there's a little bit of pre-assembly we need to do here on our table. We're going to take our Shark Demon headlight. I want you to face it downward, and I want you to grab your headlight brackets. There's going to be two brackets because there's two lights. We're going to take the cutout for the wiring and place it where the wire is and set it over our light. Now, in your hardware pack, you're going to have 8 of these smaller metric bolts with the smaller washers. These are not the large washers that are over here on these button head screws. So we're going to take these 4 screws and just line them up where they go. I'll start one here so this doesn't fall off. We'll move to the other side so you have a better view. So you'll see there's 2 holes. There's an adjustment or slotted hole, and there's a fixed hole. I'm going to start that fixed hole first in the upper bolt. I'm going to take that same style bolt, and I'm going to go through for the adjuster. Now we'll go over how to adjust it, how to make sure it's angled in the right direction, because we definitely want to be able to see well going down the road. We also don't want to blind oncoming traffic, and adjustment is going to be critical for that, and I'll show you how to get that right. We're just going to start those 2 bolts here first. We'll move to the other side and do the same thing. I already started that upper one. Now these are 10 millimeter, so we're going to use a ratcheting wrench to go ahead and tighten them down. I'm going to tighten that fixed one first. As we're doing this, we are actually going to be pulling this bracket into the headlight or closer to the headlight. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down, but I am going to get to the side and look and make sure that I'm pulling it in. I'm going to do both sides before I go anywhere near tight, because we're going to be flexing this bracket. I want to make sure we have plenty of threads in, that nothing gets cross-threaded or in a bind. So now, if you'll look at this gap, we're going to start pulling this in until it's really close to the light itself, but not tight yet. And if you go too far, just loosen it a little bit. But what we want is we still want to be able to twist that bracket once this bolts in where it goes. We'll tighten them all the way down once we're back on the bike. As you see, it still twists, it still rotates. So I'm going to bring these other two in closer so that when we get them on the bike, we get them adjusted. We don't have to go so far to get them tightened down. All right, so now I'm going to move to my other light and do the same thing again. Again, this cutout clears that wire. That lets you know you're in the right place. Again, getting it close enough that it is close to tight, but it still moves. And then we'll bring in those outside bolts. Sometimes, once you get a little bit past where that powder coat's on the edge of the threads, you can just do this by hand, getting it in close enough. And then we'll take a ratchet and go a little further. These lights are IP67 watertight or waterproof, so we don't have to worry about water eventually making it inside and making them go out. But on top of that, Custom Dynamics lifetime warranties their lights. There is no better warranty than that. It's pretty amazing how they stand behind their products. All right, still moves. So next, we're going to move to this larger bracket. This bracket is going to mount right where the factory headlight did in the factory headlight holes, but we're going to be positioning our light upside down, feeding our wire through this hole, and we're going to be lining that up. Actually, I got it the wrong way. Let's do it this way. You want to have your logo facing toward the front of your lights. I just mocked this up a minute ago. Everything we do, we want to do it at least a couple times before we show you. All right, so now that we have them there, we're going to take these bolts that were included in your hardware pack, and we're going to start all of those tightening these headlights and their headlight bracket to the main bracket. All the hardware is stainless. A lot of the other pieces are aluminum, making sure we never have any rust. And I think this build quality is as good or better than the factory lights, which is important. We definitely don't want to take a new bike and put something that's lower quality on it. Hand starting all those, make sure none get cross-threaded. Now we'll go with a wrench and tighten them on down the rest of the way. I'm just snugging each one down. I'll go back over and tighten them a little bit more. We definitely want them tight. We definitely do not want them to come loose, but we also don't want to break it. This is a small stud with a 10mm sized bolt or nut, so we definitely don't want to over torque them either. All those are tight. We now have our lights mounted on a bracket. Top is facing up, so is our logo facing you. So now at this point, we're going to talk a little bit about our side markers. So these are the ones that come with it. They're actually the side vents. It lets the air blow through. Some of the other companies that came out with these early on did not allow that air to pass through. And by not letting it go through, they ended up with a lot of wind buffeting at your head, as well as some instability issues at high speeds. I was glad to see when the Shark Demon version from Custom Dynamics came out that they included that vent or that pass-through for that air. They've also vented it, so you're not going to worry about bugs blowing through there and hitting you on the other side. Now, one thing they did, though, is they made it optional to get the turn signals. So let me get these out. We'll go and open the turn signal box. I'll show you what comes in that box as well. And we're kind of limited right now on what has been introduced, what colors they have. So by the beginning of next year, there'll be some new options coming out or some additional options. They show those options on the back of the box. I'll flip around and show you that. But inside of here, we have two vents. There's going to be a couple bolts inside of here as well, but those bolts come in the headlight kit, so we don't actually need those bolts. But you'll see on the back They offer a yellow turn signal, the selective yellow. That's what we're dealing with today. Come first of the year, they'll have a white daytime running light that does an amber turn signal. Now, the ones we're installing are just a selective yellow turn signal. There is no daytime running light option. But here you have that same vent we just talked about, but we also have a very nice turn signal on the front. I would not want to delete the turn signal. To me, the whole point of this is to be more visible and to be less likely to get hit. And these really bright turn signals are going to help that. So these are sold separate, but if you go to volunteeraudio.com, you'll find out we do bundle the headlight and the turn signals together. And if you've bought the headlight by itself, you can also add these to it. And the included harnessing that comes with the headlight is already ready to plug directly into these turn signal parts. So it is well thought out. It is all plug and play, but you do have to take into account the cost of this if you decide to do these lights. All right, so let's move on to the bike. Let's get it disassembled. I'll show you how to get the fairing off, how to remove the headlight, and we'll start putting the rest of these parts inside the Harley. All right, so let's start disassembling our fairing. Let's talk about our tools first, though. All you're going to need to do this is going to be a T25 and a T30 Torx, along with a panel removal tool, just something to pry these grills off. We'll go over that. And then last but not least, get you a clear bolt organizer, something to put all your hardware in so that when you get done, you've made sure you put all of these back in where they go. All right, so we're going to start with removing our front speaker grills. On these Road Glides, they're pretty weakly made at the bottom, and you have to pry out on the top. So I always rest my hand on the bottom, and then I'll pry out at the top of the grill with a tool of some sort. This way I'm not pulling out on the bottom at all, because we don't want to break these two tabs. So just pulling out with something at the top, releasing those two tabs, and then lifting your grill off. Now this bike has our Hertz audio upgrade already in it, and you'll see everything was plug and play and mounted very well and should work great with this light. All right, again, just making sure we don't break those tabs. These grills are not cheap. We don't want to mess them up. All right, so let's move on to the windshield. We're going to take our T25. Let's remove our bolts that are currently holding our windshield on. All right, actually, before I go much further, I'm going to go ahead and add some fender protection. This bike has a carbon fiber fender. Likelihood of it getting damaged or hurt from this is very low, but just in case, you may have a painted one and you may drop your screwdriver. I don't want you to dent it. I don't want you to scratch it. So put you some protection over that fender before you move forward. All right, let's remove those other two bolts on the other side. You'll notice as you take these screws off, there are some little rubber washers. You want to make sure you keep those with it and they're put back on when we go back together later. We're just going to take our windshield and set it over to the side. Let's continue on with the bolts. Now that our windshield's off, we've exposed 3 more bolts holding this windshield bracket or mount. Same thing on the other side. Same T25 Torx driver we've been using. All right, so at this point we're going to come to the front to where this vent is. I want you just to grab the top edge of the vent and pull toward you. It's just going to release a snap clip on each side. Right there. We're going to set this over to the side as well. At that point, this portion of your windshield cover, this little plastic piece, is going to come off. We can set it over to the side as well. Make sure we do this in the proper order. I want you to go ahead and remove these 2 bolts. There's one right here in the middle of the fairing at the beginning of this vent area on each side. Now we're going to leave the 2 up where the inner and the outer fairing meet, just to hold everything in place as we remove this. Let's move to the other side of the fairing now. So we've got a bolt all the way down here at the bottom. You'll see there are 2 bolts on the inner fairing. We're only going to be removing the lower one on each side. So go ahead and take that out. Same T25 Torx we've been using. Same thing on the other side. Now we're going to go ahead and move up here. Under our speaker grill, you'll see there's another Torx screw on each side that we can remove. All right, so all the hardware has been removed except for 2 bolts. So as we come back to the front, I always do these last so I can hold the fairing in place. I don't risk dropping it. I'm going to, with my body just kind of pressing against it, I'm going to remove both of these where the outer and inner fairing come together. All right, once you have that, you can just grab that fairing, kind of move it a little bit, and you should be able to remove that outer fairing and set it to the side. All right, so now we're going to move on. We got our fairing off. We're going to take our headlight out. Now in this fairing, if you look, you're going to see our Hertz upgraded amplifier, our Siren HD Volunteer Audio A to B interface. Your bike may not have this. You may have a factory amp. There'll be a little less going on. You are going to have the same process to get the headlight out, but I will tell you, I have relocated some of the wiring. The headlight wiring from the factory comes up behind the radio, snaps over here, runs back down through a hole and plugs into the headlight, which makes no sense to me. So I always reroute that wiring to actually behind the headlight where I think it should go. We're going to move on to our T30 Torx. That's going to be our larger Torx driver. We're going to have 2 bolts at the bottom of the headlight, 2 ears down here that bolt in. We're going to have 2 that are easy to see up here at the top and 2 more recessed in here to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these recessed Torx bolts. I'm going to loosen those. In reality, I may or may not get these all the way out. They may just hang out there until we pull the headlight out. Another one on this side. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 on the bottom. All right, so now I've got 4 bolts loose. I've got 2 more to go for a total of 6. So we're going to take these out. Now these are normally going to be longer probably on your bike. I have swapped these to shorter bolts just to make sure they don't stick out where my wiring is for our upgraded audio system. All right, so now we can just take our headlight. We're going to slide it forward. I'm going to go ahead and grab those 2 bolts that I had. And behind the headlight, you're going to have a plug in here that you're just going to press up on a little button and you're going to unplug it. Let me show you this plug-in more detail. You'll see this little button right here. Just press in on that and it's going to let it release and unplug. And that's where our new headlight is going to plug in as well. All right, so now the next step, we're going to plug in the harness that came with our headlight kit. It's going to plug right into that original headlight harness connection. On here, you're going to see we have 2 connectors, one for the right and left headlights. And then you're going to see 2 smaller ones. These are for our turn signals, and you'll notice they are color-coded differently. So we do have a black, a purple, and a blue on one. We have a black, a brown, and a blue on the other. So now I want you to look at your turn signals. And this is going to be a good way to tell which one goes where. This particular one that goes on this side, if you look at the plug, is going to have a brown wire. So on the brake side of the bike, you're going to take the light that has the brown wire. The brown one is going to go to the brake side. The purple one is going to go to the clutch side as we go together here. Make sure you get these on the right side or the correct side to make sure your turn signals flash correctly. You can put them on the other side. They'll still light up, but you'll be flashing the wrong side of the bike. So now I'm going to take our bracket that we assembled earlier today, and I'm going to take a couple of our bolts because we're going to be bolting this back in. I'm just going to hold it up here and kind of test fit where it goes. And it goes all the way back in here. Looks like it's going to fit without problem with our system. So I'm going to take our harness and I'm going to plug in both of our lights. One for one side, one for the other. And again, making sure that as I do this, that I've got these lights going out in the correct direction for me. Now they've got some pictures of this in here, and what they're telling you to do is to leave that in behind this bracket, which I'm going to do. If something changes, I'll let you know as we go forward with it. But we do have the brown one goes to the brake side, purple one to the clutch side. I'm going to line this all back up and put it in place where it goes. Make sure that this light is coming out the other side. Light wire You're reusing the factory bolts for this part. Take our big screwdriver here and go ahead and bring them in some. Not going tight yet, but we're just getting our bolts in. Wrong bolt, this bolt. Let's get in far enough. It doesn't want to lean out. I'm going to go ahead and start the 2 top bolts. Factory hardware, factory holes. All right. Make sure the other one's in good and straight before I go tight with it. Again, now I want to verify that my wiring that I have for my turn signals is still going in the right directions, that they're pulled out where our turn signals are going to go. Now we're just going to continue to go in with our bolts. This top one is in a little bit of a bind, so I'm trying to make sure it's started. I don't want to force it in. All the other bolts are still loose. There we go, we started now. Never want to force anything. I'm going to pull these 4 bolts all the way in and get those good and tight. There looks to be no slots or any adjustment to them. All right, these are some long bolts, so let's get them all the way in. I'm looking here, I believe our A to B bracket is not going to be used with this headlight. We have an upper panel that goes in here. Early on when we sold this system, we Velcroed the A to B on top of the headlight, and it looks like they've supplied us a great place to do the same thing. So if you've bought the metal bracket, you may not be using it. Haven't bought our metal bracket yet. This may be a good substitute for it if you're planning on doing this as well. All right, so we've got both of our headlights are in here now. I've left them loose. I can still adjust them because later on we're going to actually rotate the bike around, shine it out on the wall behind us. DOT says for this to meet their spec, and this makes good sense, 100 feet out from the bike, we want the light pattern in low beam 4 feet off the ground. So what we'll do is we'll flip the bike around, we'll shine it out, we'll measure 4 feet up, we'll adjust that light beam where that's where it's at. We don't want it in the trees, in the eyes of oncoming traffic. We want all of that light focused where we need it, where we can see on the road. Let's continue to go together with some of these other parts. I'm also checking to see, are we going to have the ability to adjust that light once we get these parts installed? Because it may be that we need to adjust it now. I think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to do some adjustment on the light, and then we're going to put these parts back together. All right, so we rotated our bike around, and I want to show you the process that I do when I set that beam or that brightest point for our headlight. So I've got my bike on a little scissor lift, but we don't have it lifted. I've brought that up just enough to hold that bike level. And on my garage door over here, we have 4 foot and 1 inch to this line. Now DOT says we want our light beam to be a little below that. I'm going to shoot for about 1 inch below. So now I'm going to take my light, my Shark Demon light, and I'm going to bring it up while I'm watching that pattern on the wall. I'm going to bring it on up till I'm in that area. And once I'm in that area, I'm going to tighten it down. Now you could also, after you've done this, you may want to go for a ride. And if you want to bring it up a little more, you can, but keep in mind the idea is to be able to see where we're going without blinding oncoming traffic. Last thing we want to do is create an issue and have somebody wreck into us simply because we wanted to see it up higher. So I'm going to be a little conservative with this. I'm going to follow those specs that DOT goes along with, because in reality, if I can see 4 or 5 feet off the ground, that's going to cast hundreds of feet in front of me, and that's going to allow me to be very safe while I'm riding. So now that I've got that one adjusted and I've tightened it up, I'm going to move over, I'll make the other one match, and then we'll turn the bike back around and I'll show you the next steps, putting the turn signal on and the rest of the fairing. All right, so next step, I'm going to go we're going to leave the bike here. There's no reason I have to spin it around necessarily to show you these steps. I'm going to be putting on our turn signal next. That is the next step, and we're going to bolt it in place. Now, if we get looking at this, it's going to be using this factory hardware here, so I'm going to remove that screw out. And there's a new threaded hole on our bracket right up in here where we're going to be putting our other hardware. So let me get my Torx T30. I'll pull that out. We'll slide our light in where it goes, and then we're going to go back together with our hardware holding this in place. All right, so we're just going to remove this bolt here at the bottom of the speaker pod. Now I've got a longer one in it. Factory it would have been shorter. I'd actually made it longer because I swapped the upper and lower bolts when we do our audio systems. Now I do want you to look at the wire color code here, match it up, and make sure it matches what you've decided to do. It only goes one way. We definitely don't want to get this wrong and have our turn signal flashing on the wrong side of the bike. Now this portion of the vent actually lines up with that factory vent perfectly. So we're going to press around it, slide up over it. That's going to decide exactly where we go. It's also going to make sure that that vent is funneling the wind correctly. There we go. Got that slid in place. We're going to keep coming back further. All right, so I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to put our upper bolt in. It's going to be this button head Allen with this washer. I need a pretty long Allen tool to get that started and in. Get close on that. And I want to put my bolt in at the bottom, back where it goes. All right, I'll finish tightening that upper bolt in now. Be careful not to damage this. This is your FM antenna. We don't want to mess that up. So that is tight. Our bottom bolt is in and tight. So I'm going to move to the other side and do the same thing there. Again, just plugging in our light, making sure our colors on our wires match. Again, this is the brake side. We're using our brown wires over here. Lining up our vent. Go ahead and remove that bottom bolt. Sliding it on in. I'll take that button head, starting that upper bolt, the end of the headlight bracket that we added. So I'm getting it in so far, and I'm going to go ahead and put that bottom bolt back in. I don't want to get anything in a bind. So before we tighten anything, we start everything else. I'll finish tightening that top bolt. All right, so we got that part tight now. Let's move on to our next portion of bracketry here. So we have a filler panel here that's actually going to go in, and it's going to go in right here, and you'll see that it's going to line up with these original bolts. Now, because I have our Hertz audio system and it has an upgraded power wire, we're going to actually relocate that power wire toward the center instead over to the side to make access for this headlight. And you did receive in your hardware, you received one extra of these 10mm nuts. So I'm going to put it down here on the bottom, which is going to hold this in place. And we're going to take our 10mm wrench and we're going to tighten that down. I love the way they've made this look more finished. This isn't like it's a second thought that they've, after the fact, tried to make it look right. They've built all of this specifically for this bike. Next, they give us this bracket. I think this is important. Most of the other ones on the market don't have something like this. And what this is going to do is it's going to shelter and keep water from just trying to annihilate everything up here at the top. And even though Harley's built this to be weatherproof, and most everything has marine connections, our amp does as well, we don't want to send that much water on it all the time. By doing so, we're just asking for trouble. I think it's much better off to have an IPX sealed unit, make all the wind go where it's supposed to go, giving it places to vent out, and I think they've done a great job on this. We're going to take our factory upper headlight bolts, and we're going to bolt this in now. All right, so we have all of this like it should be. Now I'm going to take our A to B module now. Very simply, I'm going to Velcro it right in here. We know that's going to clear. We know our fairing is going to go back on. And that's going to also keep water from trying to continually go onto this as well. I like the fact they put this shield here. It's all marine. It's all conformal coated boards. It's got waterproof connections. But it's always better to take your electronics and not pressure wash them, which is essentially what you're doing when you have nothing here, keeping that away when it rains. So I'll get a piece of Velcro, stick this down. You may not have this part in your build, but if you want an amazing audio system, check out Volunteer Audio's Hertz Stage 4 packages with our Siren HD interface. We can actually do up to 8 speakers, and very, very soon, I know you're going to ask, a lot of you are watching right now are wondering, when are those drop-in subs coming? We've been given a timeline, no later than January 1st. We'll have the subwoofers to add to this. We'll be making some more videos over the winter, going into great detail about that as well. All right, I'm going to Velcro this in place where I want it here, and then we'll put the fairing back on and show you how everything fits. All right, so we're going to slide our fairing back in place. Starting this upper bolt. I always want to make sure on this side that we have all of these little ears that line up, lined up where they go before we go pulling this in. I'm sure with this new headlight, we're going to have to do a little bit of pulling down there, which we will do. Make sure the other side is lined up the best that it can be for now. Start that upper bolt. Looks good. Appears to be fitting really well. Go ahead and go to this side and start pulling in here at the speaker pods. Make sure everything's aligning. I'm just double, triple checking everything, making sure it's all in the correct place. Now I'm going to start that bolt. There we go. Let's go ahead and put our 2 bolts in that face downward here. On both sides. Double checking these. All right, so when I get down here, I'm just going to look at my light, make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. It should be pulled pretty tight. Making sure that all those bolts are back where they were and that they're all tight. I already put my bottom one in on this side. I'm going to put the bottom one in on this side as well. All right, so now we'll start going back together with our windshield area. Just reinstalling the 6 bolts that hold the windshield mount or bracket on. 3 on this side, 3 on the other. All right, you want to keep watching now. I know you know how to put this back together, and I'm going to cover all of it for you. But here in a minute, we're going to do the before and after. We actually have two of these CVOSTs here. We're going to line them up side by side. We're going to check out the factory headlight. We're going to turn on the new Custom Dynamics light, and we're going to let you see the difference between the two. And it's really cool that we have both bikes, so we can go back and forth and let you see what it looks like versus on the fairing, plus what the light pattern looks like. Got that bracket on, we're going to slide our windshield in. 4 more bolts, snap on 2 speaker grills, we're almost done. Again, to reinstall the grills, it's very easy. You're going to line up these 2 ears facing downward, and you're going to line up the 2 upper clips. Once they're lined up, you're just going to press in. It's going to snap right into place. Just like that. All right, so the bike's back together. I want you to check out that front end. Check out the look of that new light. I'm sure Eric will get some good video going around it, showing it from straight on, showing it from the side. I think they've done a great job at Custom Dynamics, giving us something that is built for this motorcycle. I love those side turn signals. They're going to be viewable from the side or straight on, and they fill it all up. It doesn't look like somebody made this in the garage and tried to figure out a way to make it fit the bike. All right, so I'm going to show you just how bright this Shark Demon headlight is compared to the stock headlight. And in this case, we actually own 2 of these CVOSTs. This is our 2025 red CVOST, and we just put that Shark Demon headlight assembly in our 2024 white colored CVOST. So now we're going to go to the same garage door that we were showing you how to set the height on the light. And we're going to shine that factory light on it. And then I'm going to turn on top of that, this Shark Demon light to show you how much brighter it is. Now, I'll tell you, we're only probably less than 20 foot from the front of this headlight to that door. As you get further out, imagine this beam actually widens. So you see more to the right and the left. And even the high beam is going to look very spotlight on this door, but it gets bigger as you get further out, which is what we want. 100 feet or more out is where we're looking while we're going down the road. And this light does even better in that circumstance. But this is the best I have today to show you the difference between the 2 lights. I'm going to cut the lights off. We'll turn on the red bike's factory light. And no mistaking, you'll be able to see when that Shark Demon light comes on. All right, so there's our factory light. As you can see, to me, it's actually pointed a little downward. It's also not got a really wide pattern. Here comes our Shark Demon. The light is higher, it's much wider, and it's a whole lot brighter. And now let's throw on that high beam on top of that. That high beam, as we get further out, is going to illuminate a much greater area in front of you. But also the right and the left distance on this light is amazing. Let's go back to that stock light. There's back to our stock light. And there goes that Shark Demon. You see that defined line? That's going to keep from blinding oncoming traffic while allowing you to see greatly as we get further and further away. Again, off and back on. Just a huge difference in the overall visibility. I love the look, I love the fitment, I love the quality of this new Shark Demon light, but on top of all of that, the safety, the ability to see at night, and the ability for other people to see you without you blinding them, a lifetime warranty and great fitment and all plug and play. There's just so many pros to this light over some of the other ones on the market. All right, so I love the new light. I can't wait to actually do this to the red one as well, but I thought it was great today to be able to show you that side-by-side comparison. Now, many options are coming from Custom Dynamics. I love the look of what we have, but if you're looking for the yellow headlights, they'll have one that has 2 yellow headlights, a white and a yellow headlight, as well as some new turn signals coming that will be a white daytime running light with an amber flash turn signal. These are going to be what they call selective yellow all the time, but I really like the look of it. I think it fit great. If you watch the step-by-step, I know you just saw it's really made for this. This isn't an afterthought, just taking some crazy lights and trying to make them fit. If you're looking for a light like this, if you're impressed with the output, go to volunteeraudio.com. We have them in stock. We also have them bundled with the turn signals. And again, you can buy this light without the turn signals, but I wouldn't recommend that. You would have no front turn signal at all, so that would hurt our visibility when turning. It also would throw a check engine light on if you do not attach some sort of turn signal. In a future video, I'm going to be showing you some additional lights that go on the side. It's kind of like a fog light that they sell that goes along with this set. We'll be adding those as well, so definitely keep up with Volunteer Audio. Watch that. And you can do that by subscribing to Volunteer Audio on YouTube, following us on Facebook. We try to show you the latest in audio and accessories as they come out for Harley. And we also like to show you how to install it so you can save that labor money by putting it in yourself. Again, in stock, free shipping, no sales tax if you're not in Tennessee. And I'll tell you, we have the best sales and tech staff in the industry. Along with our step-by-step install videos and our free lifetime tech support, I know you can get this installed. And if you ever have a problem in the future, we are here to take care of you. We're a small business that loves our customers and loves to take care of them. Thank you so much for watching. If you need us, if you got questions about this light, audio systems, other accessories, give us a call at 1-844-30-AUDIO. We'd love to talk to you about your bike, your build, your budget. Make sure you get all the parts you need put together for you. And don't forget, at Volunteer Audio, we offer up to 24 months no interest financing through a firm credit. We also do PayPal's Pay Later program. We do Shop Pay. We have so many finance options to allow you to get the parts you want now and to spread that out over equal no interest payments in the future. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, God bless.